Hello and welcome to the Noble Leaders Cup. I am Kjotleik. This is the game between Alp Arslan of the Seljuks and James I of Aragon. This is an interesting game. Both leaders are organized, both leaders are imperialistic, and the difference is that the Seljuks start with mysticism and the wheel, while Aragon starts with fishing and agriculture. On the map, we see the starting position of Alp Arslan. Let's get the resource bubbles on for a moment. He is starting on a hill next to a river with floodplains. There is also an oasis here. There is incense, oil for later, cows, there is clams, over here is coal and also some copper, and we see also some gold out in the desert there. In the eastern continent, that's where they start. He is up north. In the south we have James I of Aragon, starting next to uranium, which you can't see yet, not until physics. There is fish and clams over here, some stones up there and some cows. So we are going to get this rolling. Let's get the resource bubbles off and we are going to start again. Alp Arslan versus James I of Aragon in the first qualifying round of the Noble Leaders Cup. Alp Arslan in Buddhism. James I was first to 2 cities. Now Alp Arslan is first to 3. He is keeping to the north. James is keeping to the south. They should be coming up against each other. James has come a little bit further north than Alp has come south. Yes. Oh, we have the war already. That was a city raised. That was a city raised. That was a super early war declaration. Alp Arslan 4 cities now. And James is down to 3. James is down to 3 and Alp has 5. What a start of this game. I couldn't even start to breathe or blink an eye before that war. And man, 5 cities Alp Arslan, 3 cities James I. We are at turn 153 and the war has gone on for ages already. That was a very early war declaration. And he raised a city. I think it was Alp Arslan that attacked. It must have been, because James lost some cities early there. 6 cities Alp Arslan now, 3 cities James I, and James is in trouble here. He really is. Alp Arslan seems to have taken this game like a champion. He went out strong. Now he's up to 7 cities versus James's 3. He hasn't been able to take out the southernmost 3 cities of James I, but they are still in war. They haven't signed peace. But with 7 cities and the ability to build more troops for Alp Arslan and also some faster teching, we see that feudalism goes really fast for Alp Arslan, while James is going to spend a lot more turns on it. And now Alp is of course upgrading units as well. That's why he is slow towards civil service. 7 cities Alp. 8 cities Alp Arslan now. He has built yet another one, and we see all the units. 9 cities now for Alp. He has built on that little island connecting to the starting continent. Well, it's not connected, but it's passageway by sea, by coastline. 11 cities now Alp Arslan, and he has this game well underhand. He hasn't signed peace yet actually. He's going engineering now, getting that. James is getting code of laws, even though he has a very small and compact empire. 12 cities to 3. Will James ever get to found another city that can withstand attacks from the Seljuks? I don't know. He has trouble enough as it is. Banking next for Alp Arslan. Surely Alp, you must go take out those last 3 cities, or do you want to win domination instead? I mean, this was such an early war declaration that I will be disappointed if you wait until turn 400 by winning a domination now, Alp Arslan. I really will be disappointed about that if you do that. You are 1.5 times as strong as James. That is not particularly much, given that you have 13 cities and James only 3. Going for the military tradition then. Yeah, this war has petered out and become a little bit boring now. I really thought for a moment there that Alp Arslan was going to get a super early conquest victory here, but so is not happening. We are almost at turn 300 already. This war has gone on forever and James has kept his 3 cities. I don't think Alp Arslan is interested in taking those last 3 cities. He eventually will though. He eventually will, I think, unless he just ignores the whole war and just lets it go on, because he's in no danger of getting, well, any of his cities captured by James, it seems. 15 cities Alp Arslan now, 3 for James. It looks like Alp Arslan just wants to go for domination. It doesn't seem like he wants conquest at all. I'm disappointed in this, Alp Arslan. You could have gone for a really super early victory. Instead you are dragging this game out longer than necessary. Turn 318, 319, 320, and we have reached the 20th century and 16 cities Alp Arslan. Still 3 cities James I. I mean, come on. Chemistry next for Alp Arslan though. I kind of feel cheated, since this was the promise of a very quick and early victory, and now we are at turn 330 already and James I still has his 3 cities. So, and there is still the war going on, but Alp Arslan is obviously not focusing on the war efforts here. 18 cities for Alp, 3 for James I. You know, James I, he does have 3 cities. I mean, that is enough to win a cultural victory. 3 cities is enough. Of course, with such little, such little research capacity as well, because it doesn't have that much commerce. James is not going to win culture, I think, but if he did, I kind of feel like Alp Arslan has wasted a very good and early conquest game here, so yeah. I wouldn't cry if James stole this victory from him right now, because Alp Arslan has disappointed me by not going early conquest 19 cities to 3, but he's going to win domination eventually here. We are at turn 359, 360 now, so Alp Arslan, at least get that as early as you can then. 20 cities now, and now James is down to 2. He has lost the city. Has Alp Arslan decided, oh, he wants to go conquest anyway? Alp Arslan, you are in between your own minds, I think. 2 cities left for James I. 1 city left for James I. Alp Arslan is finally going conquest, but this is way too late. I am sorry to say, Alp, but you have both impressed me greatly by the early war declaration, and you have disappointed me profoundly by not getting your conquest. Well, you should have won conquest at least 150 to 200 turns before you actually did, but congratulations going through to the second qualifying round. You had no problems whatsoever taking care of James I. This is a 1956 turn 376 conquest victory for Alp Arslan. Alp Arslan of the Seljuks is through to the second qualifying round with a 1956 AD conquest victory. He declared the only war of the game. That happened in 525 BC, that's on turn 94. It ended up with him winning 6-1 in city captures, and the war ended in 1956, turn 376, after 2,481 years or 282 turns in war. He captured and razed the two first cities in the war in the BC era before 1 AD, which means that James I was down to 3 cities already before turn 115. I am sure had he pressed on in this game, he could have won a conquest victory around turn 180 to turn 200. I think that was realistic for Alp Arslan. Instead, he waited until turn 376, which is not a particularly impressive date for a conquest victory, but here we are. Let's go take a look at the statistics. Here we see the graphs. Alp Arslan is in the light blue and James I in the yellow. GNP, production, food, power was actually even around 13, 14, 1500 AD here. That's a peculiarity. Culture and espionage. Yeah, so we see Alp Arslan had this game, no problem. The values you see here, we can note that he had only about 8.6 million people in his empire. Top 6 cities in Wonderstan, one wonder in the BC era, that was Stonehenge, and we see of course Alp Arslan with all the top 6 cities, but yeah, Isfahan is the only one that is not a double-digit population number, so that's good at least. Statistics then, Alp Arslan, 22 cities built, 2 raised, 7 religions founded, 1 golden age, currently on 37 farms, 32 towns, 28 mines, and he built in his cities 18 granaries, 14 lighthouses and barracks, and we see all the way down to a Taoist temple. Let's go page down. And on page 2 we see a lot of ones, because there are a lot of wonders here. Let's go page down to the 3rd page and see that there is a Chichen Itza completing the list of builds. Current units then, 45 grenadiers, 35 longbowmen, 30 musketmen and down to a crossbowman. He trained a total of 183 workboats. So that was what you were doing in the middle of that war, Alp Arslan. 183. I don't keep a record of the units that I train, so I couldn't tell if this is a new world record or something, but it is at least a very high number. 34 macemen, 29 workers, 4 galleys. Let's go page down. And there is a great merchant at the bottom. Let's look at your kills then. 57 longbowmen, 42 archers and axemen, and there is a galley and your losses. 30 macemen, 21 trebuchets and 17 crossbowmen, all the way down to a longbowman. Of course, we cannot see James I here, so I'm going to have to reload the game for that. But before I do that, I'm of course going to look at the victory condition screen and the cities of Alp Arslan, and then we are going to reload the game to look at James I statistics. This is the victory condition screen, Alp Arslan with 59.16% of the land area, and he was far away from culture. He had built the Apostolic Palace, but that's it here. Let's go take a look at his cities. He has 25 of them. Let's see, sort by population, and we see them here. Nishapur 14, Rey 13, Baghdad 12, and we see the list goes on. They are happy and healthy, have some not that good food, but decent. Not that good base commerce, but decent. Production is, well, single-digit production in a lot of cities is not that good, but okay. This was the city list, and now I have to reload the game to show you the statistics of James I. Here we are after the reload, and this is James the First. Oops, let me just fix that one. James the First, 5 cities built, 0 race, 0 regions, 0 golden ages, and no improvements of course, because it doesn't have any cities. Let's go to the top here. 3 monuments built, 3 granaries, 2 consulates of the sea, a barracks, a library, and a market, and that was not particularly much. Current units then? Well, it says you have a settler, but I don't believe you. I mean, come on. You trained in your cities then, 82 archers, 42 axemen, 36 catapults. And we see down to a galley. The kills, that of course have to be compared with Alp Arslan's numbers. 30 macemen, 20 trebuchets, 17 crossbows, down to a grenadier. And losses as well. 57 longbowmen, 42 axemen and archers, and down to a galley. And these are all the numbers. This is the statistic for James the First. That concludes this game. And we have to congratulate Alp Arslan with reaching the second qualifying round. The next game will come on tomorrow, and that's Amanulla versus Margrethe the First. I hope to see you back then. I am Kjotleik. This has been the Noble Leaders Cup. Goodbye for now.